Hare Krishna. I wanted to spend some time understanding the meanings of individual shlokas of Gita dhyAnam. The reason I am doing this in English is because there are some friends here who do not know Kannada. So the first shloka is Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam. The meaning is simply Parthaya Pratibodhitam. This was spoken to Partha. Pratibodhana means spoken towards. Bodhana means to teach something. And Pratibodhana is to who it was targeted. The teaching was targeted towards Partha, which is Arjuna. Where was it targeted? Who was the speaker? Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam. This is very important to note that the meaning here is Swayam. Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam. It was spoken by the Lord Narayana himself. So let there be no doubt. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam. There was something that was spoken to Partha by the Lord Narayana himself. What was that spoken will come in the last line. Something was spoken and it was documented by who? Vyasena Gratitam. It was written down it was documented by Vyasadeva. Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina. And this Vyasa, don't be confused with this Vyasa with anybody else. It's the same Vyasa who compiled all the Vedas and the Puranas. So it was spoken to Partha. It was spoken by the Lord himself. And it was documented by Vyasa. Where? Madhye Mahabharatam. In the middle of the Mahabharata war. And how is this? So, who was the target? Who was the speaker? Who was the documenter? Where was it spoken? The fifth is, what is the quality of this? Advaita Amruta Varshinim. This is like no other scripture. This is second to none. This is absolutely like Amruta Varshini, like a nectar, a rain of nectar. Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim. We will come back to Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim. Amba. Amba is mother. Who is that mother? Tvam Anusandadhami. I meditate upon you. Anusandhana means to meditate upon or invest oneself upon is Anusandhana. I am meditating upon you, O mother. Who is that mother? Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim. That mother who has 18 chapters. Who is the Bhagavati himself. Why? Because it is coming from the Bhagavan. That which is coming from Bhagavan is Bhagavati. So, this mother Bhagavati Amba, which is Gita, Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim. Bhagavad Gita, O mother Bhagavad Gita, you remove the kalmasha or the impurities of this bhava, this samsara. You are capable of removing all the impurities of this samsara. So, Ambatvam Anusandadhami, I meditate upon you, O Bhagavad Gita, who is composed of 18 chapters. And it is unparalleled nectar rain of nectar. Such is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. So, Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaita Amrutavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadasha Adhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusandhadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim. So, Bhagavad Gita is compared to two things here. One is Amrutavarshini. Second is Amba, mother. So Bhagavad-Gita is the mother. Mother is the first teacher of any human. So ambatvam anusandadhami Bhagavad-Gita bhavadveshini. Second shloka. Namostute vyasa vishala buddhe pullara vindayata patra netra yena tvaya bharata taila purnaha prajwalito jnanamayah pradipaha. It's very important to pay a tribute to the author of any work. Here the author is Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is in Mahabharata defined as Vyasaya Vishnurupaya Vyasarupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanidhaye Vashisthaya Namo Namaha. So Vyasa is non-different from Vishnu. Vishnu is non-different from Vyasa. So Vyasa is an incarnation of the Lord himself. So a special tribute is paid to Vyasa, who is Namostute. I bow down to you, Vyasa, Vishala Buddhe. He has immense intellect. His intellect, he occupies the whole world. He is known as Trikala Jnani. He knew the past, he knew the present, and he knew the future. Vishala Buddhe is the buddhi that expands beyond the current dimensions of time and space. And Pullara Vindayata Patra Netra. His eyes are glowing or open like the petals of lotus flower, like blossomed lotus flower. So eyes are compared to lotus. When it is compared to lotus, it's a special indication that it's a divine aspect. So he is able to see things as they are through his lotus eyes, and therefore he documents what is there, exactly how it is. So Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe. Hey Vishala Buddhi Vyasadev, I bow down to you. Your eyes are like the blossomed lotus flower. Yena Tvaya. And through those eyes, through those wonderful eyes, you have documented something. Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha. Mahabharata is the oil for the lamp. And you have filled that oil in your eyes. The Karatala Malaka is the word that is used. When Valmiki was documenting Ramayana, he saw Ramayana as if it was a gooseberry in one's palm. As if you keep a small gooseberry in your arm, how detailed you can see it. That detailed Valmiki was able to see the Ramayana. Similarly, here Vyasadev is able to see Mahabharata because he has taken the whole Mahabharata in his eyes. He has taken the whole Mahabharata in his intellect. So, Enatvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha. The Vyasadev has used the oil of Mahabharata to ignite a lamp. What is that lamp? Prajwalitaha. It is shining lamp of what? Jnanamayah Pradipaha. There is a light of knowledge that is shining. That light of knowledge is Bhagavad-Gita. Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha. Through your beautiful eyes, you have ignited a lamp using the oil of Mahabharata, and that lamp has been shining for 5,000 years and continues to shine forever. That lamp I am grateful to. So next, Prapanna Parijataya. Lord Krishna is the deity of this Mahabharata. He is the Bhagavan of Bhagavad-Gita. So I fall at the lotus feet of that Lord who is like Parijata Vriksha. Krishna himself is Parijata Vriksha, and he is giving us the Parijata Vriksha in the form of Bhagavad-Gita. You want an answer for anything in life, you will find it in Bhagavad-Gita. So that is why Bhagavad-Gita is Kalpa Vriksha. Kalpa Vriksha is that which yields any fruits you are looking for. That Kalpa Vriksha is Parijataya, Prapanna Parijataya, Totra Vetra Ekapanaye, Totra Vetra Ekapanaye. He who is giving this Kalpavruksha or Parijata for us? The one who is holding a stick in his hand and taking care of cows. Totra Vetraika Panaye, he is holding a staff in his hand to drive away the cattle. That Gopala, who is such a simple form, he has come. But he is giving us the greatest gift to mankind, which is Prapanna Parija. I bow down to that Lord who is gifting us this ultimate Kalpavruksha or Parijata Vriksha. But he himself is so simple. He has a flute in his hand and a stick in his hand to take care of the cattle. But Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya, that is a seal of Jnana. There are two ways to look at Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya. One who is in the Jnana Mudra, yoga state. That is one way to Krishna in the yoga state. But a better one is, Mudra means a seal, a stamp, a permanent decision. When it is given, it's Mudra. He is the ultimate of Jnana. Who is Krishna is the ultimate of Jnana, because he is Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna Krishna is the Jnana Mudra. That Lord who is a symbol or the personification of Jnana, that Lord Prapanna, I fall down at his feet because he can give all the wishes I have. All my desires can only be fulfilled by him. So I bow down to that Krishna who is Parijataya, Totra Vetraika Panaye. He is the one who has given me the Parijata in the form of Bhagavad-Gita. Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gitamruta Duhe Namaha. And I also bow down to what? The seal of Jnana, who is Krishna, from who is coming the seal of Jnana in the form of Bhagavad-Gita. Bhagavad-Gita is the ultimate seal when it comes to Jnana. And that Jnana Gitamruta Duhe Namaha. Gita is Amruta. In the previous shloka, it was mentioned as Advaitamruta Varshini. That same Bhagavad-Gita is the Amruta. And Lord himself, Krishna, is the giver of that Amruta. And in the first shloka it says Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam. In this shloka it says Krishnaya Gita Amruta Duhe Namaha. It's the Krishna who has given us the Bhagavad-Gita. So that Lord who is a Narayana himself has given us this nectar of Gita. So Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraika Panaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Amruta Duhe Namaha. And what is the quality of this Bhagavad-Gita? This is my favorite shloka. The quality of Bhagavad-Gita is Sarvo Upanishado Gavaha Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamrutam Mahat. Hare Krishna. We are such fools in this Kali Yuga that we are not able to understand all the Vedas and Upanishads. So for our benefit, what does Krishna do? Sarvo Upanishado Gavaha. All the Upanishads are like the cow. Dogdha Gopalanandanaha. Krishna, who is the Gopalanandana, is the milkman who is taking all the milk or the essence from the different Upanishads. Sarva Upanishadah Gavaha. All the Upanishads are like the cows. Dogdha Gopalanandanaha. The milkman is Gopalanandana, Sri Krishna. Partha Vatsaha. Partha is like the calf. Partha is the child of that cow who is taking all that nectar. Partha Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta. Sudhi is nectar. Bhokta. He is enjoying that nectar of what? Bhagavad-Gita. Dugdham Gitamrutam Mahat. This Gita Amruta is not an ordinary Amruta. Mahat Amruta. It is the greatest Amruta. So, Partho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhoktaha. And we are all the enjoyers of that. Partha is sucking all the milk, but he is not drinking it. He is giving it to us. He is just the media through which all the milk is coming to us. How fortunate are we? So Partho, Vatsaha, Sudhir Bhoktaha, we are all the drinkers of that nectar. Gita Amruta Dugdham. The Gita Amruta is the Dugdham, the milk. Mahat, not ordinary milk. Greatest Amruta, milk, that is Bhagavad-Gita. So Sarvo Upanishado Gavaha Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Amrutam Mahat. The next shloka is a popular shloka, very easily understood by most, so I don't spend too much time on this. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. To that Lord who has given the Amrita of Gita to me, he is none other than Vasudeva, Vasudeva's son, Vasudeva Sutam Devam. He is the Lord himself, but he acts as a son of Vasudeva. He killed Kamsa and Chanura. So let there be no doubt about who this Krishna is. This is the same Krishna who is Devaki Paramanandam. He gave the greatest delight to Devaki. To that Lord Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. To that Lord Sri Krishna I bow down. He is the Jagadguru. He is the greatest teacher. He is the greatest teacher of the whole universe. So that to that Krishna I bow down. To that Krishna I worship. That Krishna I worship. Then the next shloka is an absolute stunning composition as a poem. When you look at a poem, composition wise, this is one of the most beautifully composed poems. So if you look at it, Bhishma Drona Tata Jayadratha Jala Gandhara Nilotpala Shalya Grahavati Krupena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashwathama Vikarna Ghoramakara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Khalu Pandavaihi Rananadihi Kaivartaka Keshavaha. Such a beautiful composition. The first three lines describe how dangerous the Mahabharata war was, how dangerous the Pandavas' enemies were. So it goes something like Bhishma Drona Tata. Bhishma and Drona are the two banks of this river. So it's very impossible to even come close to the banks. They will throw you out there itself. So Bhishma and Drona are standing at the borders. And who can cross them? So dangerous. Bhishma Drona Tata Jayadratha Jala. Jayadratha, huge army. He is like the waters of that massive river. Jayadratha Jala Gandhara Nilotpala. Gandhara Nilotpala. Shakuni is the lotus flower that is floating on it. It's very deceptive. Lotus appears beautiful, but the moment you go to handle it, it will suck you in and it will destroy you. That is the definition here. Gandhara Nilotpala, he is the dangerous flowers which are waiting to suck you down. Shalya Grahavati. Shalya is the other one who is like the shark, who is waiting to drag you into the waters. Kripena Vahani. And Kripa is the tide, but not a heavy tide, but many times it's a small tide that takes us inside. But there is a larger tide next to that. Tide is a wave. Karnena Velakula. And that Karna is that massive tide or the wave that is waiting to take the Pandavas inside. And then they are protected by who? Ashwathama Vikarna Ghoramakara. Ashwathama and Vikarna are the dangerous Ghoramakaraha, dangerous alligators or crocodiles which are waiting to gobble up the Pandavas. Duryodhana Vartini. And Duryodhana is the whirlpool, the Suli we call it. He is the whirlpool. He is waiting to suck the Pandavas inside. Such is the dangerous army of the Kauravas. So Bhishma Drona Tata, the Bhishma and Drona are the banks. Jayadratha Jala. Jayadratha is the river. Gandhara Nilotpala. Shakuni is the blue lotus. Shalya Grahavati. Shalya is the shark or the whale. Kripena Vahani. Kripa is the small wave that is trying to undercurrent, or that's the right word. That's the undercurrent. Karnena Velakula, and the Karna is the huge wave Ashwathama, Vikarna, Ghoramakara. Ashwathama and Vikarna are the dangerous crocodiles. Duryodhana Vartini. Duryodhana is the whirlpool. But then what? Sotirna Kalu Pandavai Hirananadihi Kaivartaka Keshavaha. Such a beautiful, soft line. Everything else is describing a dangerous situation. But then the last line says, Kalu, nothing, easily. Sotirna Kalu, after all, he very easily crossed them. Who crossed? Pandavaha. How did they cross? So Uttirna, so very easily crossed. Kalu means after all they crossed it easily. Pandava, Arnava Nadi. This Arnava Nadi, the Nadi of war, Pandavaha, all the Pandavaha crossed it. How? Kaivartakaha Keshavaha. Because the boatman was Keshava. Keshava was the boatman. He had the boat in which all the Pandavas were sitting. Pandavas thought they were fighting. Actually, it was Krishna who was fighting. So the whole dangerous river that was described here was easily crossed by the Pandavas without any effort, because the boatman was Keshava, who is the Sri Krishna. So if you read this shloka, it should be read like Bhishma Drona Tatha Jayadhrata Jala Gandhara Nilotpala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashwathama Vikarna Ghoramakara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Kalu Pandavairananadi Kaivartaka Keshavaha. Hare Krishna. So beautiful. So if we depend on that Lord Sri Krishna, even the most difficult situation, even the hardest challenges, they become easy. Shloka 8 of Gita dhyAnam. Parasharyavacha sarojamamalam Gitaartha gandhotkatam Nanakyanaka kesaram harikatha Sambodhana bodhitam Loke sajjana shatpadai raha Pepiyamanam muda Bhuyad bharata pankajam Kalimala pradvamsina shreyase. Hare Krishna. Such a beautiful description. In the previous shloka, there was a description of the dangerous position or the dangerous nature of the Kaurava army by describing things like Bhishma, Drona, Tatha, Jayadratha, Jala, Gandhara, Nilotpala, etc. But at the end, the Pandavas very easily crossed this river by the mercy of Sri Krishna, who became the boatman of their journey. So with Krishna around, even the most difficult situations become easy. In this shloka, the author goes ahead and talks about the beauty of Bhagavad-Gita by comparing the artha of Gita to a lotus flower. Parasharya vachaha. Vachas means words. Parasharya vachaha means the words of Parasharya. Parashara Muni's son, who is Vyasadeva. Vyasadev's words are like the Saroja Mamalam. It's the beautiful or the pure flower of lotus, pure lotus flower. The words of Vyasadeva are like the pure lotus flower without any blemishes. Mala means dirtiness. Amala means pure. So this lotus of the words of Vyasadeva is like the lotus flower that is absolutely beautiful or absolutely pure without any kalmasha. And of that flower, Gita Artha Gandha Utkatam, of the essence or the smell or the fragrance of that flower is Bhagavad-Gita, the meanings of the words of Bhagavad-Gita. Parasharya vachaha saroja mamalam. The words of Vyasadeva are like the lotus flower, the pure untainted lotus flower, and the meanings of Gita are the fragrance of that flower. The next description is even more beautiful because Parasharya Vachaha, the words of Vyasadev, are like the lotus flower. The Gita Artha is the fragrance of that flower. Now, this flower has various petals. Kesara means the petals, or the different rays of the sun is also Kesara. The hairs of the lion is also Kesara. In this case, it is the petals of that lotus. The lotus itself are the words, and the petals are now Nana Kyanaka Harikatha. These are the various stories of the Lord Sri Krishna. Mahabharata is nothing but a collection of stories of the Lord. And why is that spoken? Sambodhana bodhitam. It is described, it is spoken so as to enlighten us, to introduce us to the glories of the Lord. Sambodhana, addressing that Lord. Bodhitam, it is spoken so that we know the stories of that Lord. So, this Parasharya Vachaha, through the words of Vyasadev, we get to know the various petals of that flower. That petals of that flower, Mahabharata opens up itself. Once we know a little bit of Mahabharata, we know the glories of Sri Krishna. So, Parasharya Vachaha Sarojam Amalam, the words of Vyasadev is like the flower, the pure flower. And of that flower, Gita Artha Gandha Utkatam, the superior most fragrance that you can imagine is the Artha, or the fragrance of that flower. So, Gita is the ultimate fragrance. And the various petals of that flower are the Harikatha, Nanakyanaka Harikatha. Described in various ways, the stories of the Lord. And yes, there are stories now. What are the uses of these stories? This lotus flower it attracts, the lotus flower attracts thousands of bees towards it. Loke Sajjana Shatpadaihi. It is that lotus flower is approached by Sajjana Shatpadaihi. Sajjana are wonderful people, the great people, the good people who are like the honeybees. Shatpada means honeybee, one which has 6 legs. The honeybee is coming and approaching that flower. Day after day, aharahaha. Day after day, all the sajjanas, or the nice people, are coming towards this flower called Mahabharata, in which Bhagavad-Gita is the greatest fragrance. Nana Kyanaka Kesaram Harikata Sambodhana Bodhitam. That essence is for the enlightenment of individuals. Loke, in this world, Sajjana Shatpadaihi, the honeybees of nice people, Aharahaha Pepiya Manam Muda Bhuyat. Pepiya, they are Manam, Pepiya Manam, having drunk that nectar of Gitartha. All the Sajjanaha, what have they become? Muda Bhuyat. They have forgotten everything else. They are enjoying, they are rejoicing by drinking the nectar of the meanings of Bhagavad-Gita. Loke Sajjana Shatpadaihi Aharaha Pepiyamanam Buddha Bhuyat. In this world, the honeybees, in the Sajjanas in the form of honeybees, are coming day after day to enjoy and experience the nectar of Bhagavad-Gita, and they are becoming Muda. Muda means Muda Karata Modakam, that Muda, which is enjoying, rejoicing. They are experiencing the ecstasy. They are experiencing ecstasy and forgetting this world. Muda Bhuyat Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradvamshinaha. The Mahabharata, the lotus of Mahabharata, is therefore Kalimala Pradvamsinaha, the remover of the inauspicious effects of Kali. The Kali is inauspicious, and the effects of inauspiciousness of this Kali is removed by Mahabharata, especially Bhagavad-Gita. For And what is happening? Shreyase, and it is creating a lot of auspiciousness. Next shloka is very easy to understand. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande paramananda madhamam. Mukam karoti vachalam. The dumb, or one who cannot speak. It's wrong to call it dumb. That's the reason I was thinking. The one who cannot speak starts speaking. This speech flows like a beautiful song from the mouth of even those who cannot speak. Pangum langayate girim. The lame will jump over the mountains. This is simply to go back to Bhishma Drona Tata Jayadratha Jala Gandhara Nilotpala. So, how the Pandavas leaped over the mountains, they crossed the greatest river, the most dangerous river. Similarly, we can also speak even if we don't know to speak. We can jump great hurdles when Yatkrupa Tamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. When there is the Kripa of the Lord Sri Krishna, who is the most compassionate. He is the most compassionate and he gives the greatest joy to people. So that Lord Sri Krishna, to him I bow down. What is the characteristic of this Sri Krishna? Yam Brahma Varuna Indra Marutah Stunvanti Divyaihi Stavaihi Vedaihi Sangha Padak Vedai Sangha Padakramopanashadaihi Gayantiyam Samagaha Dhyana Avastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyantiyam Yoginaha Yasya Antam Naviduh Surasuraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. I bow down to this Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. What is the description of this Sri Krishna? He is worshipped by Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Marutaha, and also he is appreciated, he is glorified by Divyaihi Stavaihi, Vedaihi. They are glorified by the greatest stutis, even by the Vedas. Sangha, Padakrama, Upanishadaihi. By the various words, every word is there to describe this Lord. And the various Upanishads, everything is only glorifying Him. Gayantiyam Samagaha. And all the Vedic experts are only singing His glories. Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa. In the greatest state of dhyana, Pashyantiyam Yoginaha. Manasa Pashyantiyam Yoginaha. The one who the yogis aspire to see in their mind. That Lord who is worshipped by Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Maruta, and who is glorified by the Divyaihi Stavaihi, the most holy texts, and also Veda, and all the words and Upanishads, and also sung by the greatest scholars. That great individual who is the Lord, the personality of Godhead, he is meditated upon in the mind and it's seen by the yogis in their mind. But Yasya Antam na Viduhu, even though all the Vedas and everything describe him, even though all the Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Maruta, everyone glorify him, even though yogis see him in their hearts, but Yasyantam na Viduhu, his depth can never be understood, even by Suraganaha, even by the Sura and all the followers of the Devatas. To that Lord who is the infinite Ananta, to that Lord Devaya Tasmai Namaha, to that Lord I bow down, and that Lord I worship. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu, Shri Krishnarpanamastu, Shri Krishnarpanamastu, Hare Krishna.